Previously on Justice League.
All right. So, you join me here today. All right. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Well, you join me here today again working on this Integra. And I didn't film a lot of what was going on, especially with the other side. As you can see, it's now trucks going by. But you can see that this side is now prime. And the reason why that side is primed is there wasn't much work to do in terms of dent work or like real body work to do. There's just some general rust repairs, and I welded in new metal in two places so that it wasn't really much to fill. But this side was crazy. I'll insert a photo up here right now to show you what I was working with, and as you can see, I had a big gouge. I had a big dent that used to run here, I think. I'll just show you in the photos where it is, and then there's a line that ran from there to there. Plus a couple other dents that had to be taken out. And there's a couple dents here and here that just had, plus the rust. So it took a little bit of time, but I finally have it done, and I'm about to shoot it in some primer right now. See how it looks. Again, first shoot a primer just to see if if all the lines are straight, and the primer is sandable. So I'm probably gonna sand it down. It is thick. It is a high build primer. So let's see how this goes. I'm gonna put you guys in the time lapse and knock this thing out. Wagwan, and welcome to another day in the adventure that is this Integra. And today we'll be working on trying to get the rear crash bar looking good again. So currently looks like this. I'm just gonna spray it off and give it a good coat of black asphalt coating, and probably clean up the toe hook too. Try to get rid of most of the rust here so that basically there isn't any rust water stains when I eventually paint this car, because that's what usually happens a lot. And so this is side A, which is the passenger side, and this is side B. And after I crush out that crash bar, I'll be moving on to finally getting to this stuff. All the rust in front of the windshield. Wish me luck on that one. And I'll also be pulling this dent out, which is, I guess you could say those are the last bits of rust on this car. And after that's done, I'll be just fully priming in it and starting from there. I still have to retouch this side up, as I don't know if you can really see it on camera, but there's a couple spots, like that's a high spot right there, and just have to like sand it down. The filler primer might be able to take care of it, and there's a spot right here that I need to fill a bit. But other than that, the car looks really good. Turned out a lot better than I thought it would. Minus the overspray right here. Just have to wet sand it off with some 1000 to 1500 grit, and that's mostly it. So far it's been not bad. So I'm gonna put you down and let's get back into this. Alright, so I've been waiting for this thing to dry, and it's taken a while, and in between that time I found some of this, some rust converter. So it's supposed to turn like rusty mellow black, so I'm just gonna hit most of that with some of this rust converter and see if it turns black within the next couple minutes. After that, we can see if we can start shooting that other asphalt coating on it. Alright, but let me see how this turns out though. Yeah, so I started painting and I forgot to record. So, got the crash support painted. Actually doesn't look too bad. Looks really good actually. Yeah, it actually does look really good. So yeah, now that that's painted, I'm gonna wait for that to dry real quick, and I'll probably hit it with another slight coat, and then I'll start on this. Okay, so moving on to the roof right now. Pulled off the rest of the little trim that was right here, and I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, there's rusting all the way into here. So there's that rusting, but it seems to be surface rust. So I'm gonna try and use the grinding cup I have to try and get some of this off. See what I'm working with. I'm just gonna I need to find some painter's tape to paint up the I need to find some painter's tape to tape up the windshield so I could possibly, so I don't scratch it up too much. But that's where I'm at right now. It's gonna be, the longest part of this is honestly gonna be prepping, because it doesn't really look like it's that bad. It looks like it's just a lot of surface rust. So honestly, it's just gonna be it's just gonna have to be me finding a way to get into this groove right here. This side doesn't seem to be really that bad, but that side's pretty bad. Yeah, shouldn't take me too long though, so. So, finally bit the bullet and sanded this roof off. And it's not that bad. Turns out it was just a whole lot of surface rust. There's no holes, thank God. And right now I'm just gonna, right now I have no idea what the hell I should do to this first, because I don't want to start hitting it with a rust inhibitor when I haven't gotten rid of all the surface rust first, because that'll be no good. The problem is there's spots like right here. I doubt you'll be able to see it, but there's a little gap right there. That's rust, and that black stuff in front of it is the windshield resin that they use to keep it in. So just little spots like that where if I leave it, the rust might come back worse, or this time actually leave a hole. Those places I want to get to really, those places I really want to get to, I should say, especially because water's going to sit right in these pockets. Water's literally going to sit right in these pockets, so I really want to get almost all of the rust out of that little groove. Don't really know how I'm going to do that without removing the windshield, but I'm just going to try my best and hope for the best. All right, so wish me luck. So, so the rear crash bar actually looks really good. Like, it looks like the newest thing on this car. It actually just looks, it's really pretty. Compared to the rest of this car. Like, man, I can't stop looking at this crash bar. But yeah, I'm probably gonna move on to, so I'm gonna get some high build primer and get on this because it doesn't really seem that deep that I have to sand it. It really just seems like surface rust. I'm probably gonna hit it with a 120 grit sander. Use the sander with a 120 grit paper and knock that down to see how like smooth I can get it. Use some high build primer and then knock that down and you get it. But then the last real big rust issue that I have to fix is this thing right here on the front of my hood, and it doesn't really look like that big of a dent, but it's interesting. There's a bunch of dents here. And I have no idea how I'm even gonna really tackle this so far. God, mosquitoes. I have no idea how I'm really gonna tackle this, but I'm gonna see if I can get that emblem off and possibly start. So I'm gonna get the emblem off and then see, possibly grind it down a bit to see where the low spots are and then see what I can do from there. But honestly, just looking at this, it's just like, what I've learned from this car is that like, you might think that the dents are small or it might be easy, but they're not. They're not. Even if you try and fill them, it's just, no. So I gotta take my time with this one. Hopefully, wish me luck on this. Came a little bit too close to this windshield in a couple places, and it left, yeah, a little bit right here too. It kind of trimmed the windshield down a bit, but should be hideable.